Welcome back, sports gamers. It's the Natural here with another Madden 19 tip for you guys, and some of my favorite, some of the best playbooks in Madden 19 that I've had spent a good amount of time with the game. These are playbooks that I've used, played in games, and I really love one big thing for me. I like versatility. I like playbooks that can do a lot of things, have a lot of different formations for different looks for my opponents. So here's some of my favorite playbooks, starting off with the Patriots Playbook, which has been a fan favorite for years in Madden, because the fact that it has a good amount of 3-4 in it, but also has a 4-3 set with a 4-3 under and a 4-3 over. It gives you a good variation. You can mix it up. Sometimes depending on what somebody's running, you like to have a little, a 4-man front versus a 3-man front with the 3-4. It has a good amount of 3-4 plays in it with the 3-4 solid, odd, under. Nothing really new besides the big nickel over G. That's been added into a ton of playbooks this year. So not just the Patriots, you'll see this in a lot of playbooks across the game this year, which adds a little safety come down the box, almost like a linebacker. Also has the nickel 2-4-5 here and the 2-4-5 double A gap. I love that. I used it a lot, but that's in other formations as well. Has a 3-3-5 odd, not the regular 3-3-5, which I think is better, has better defenses in it. But the 3-3-5 odd is good, like this cover 4 drop. The cover 3 show 4, nice little heat edge heat off of there, but also has some good coverage with it. And I'm liking the corner blitzes in the game this year too. And you can still have some good coverage along with the corner blitz coming off the edge. So 3-3-5's odd is okay, but not as good as the other 3-3-5. The big dime, you really just like dollar, but it has different variations where you can have linebackers subbed into on the line of scrimmage. Has all the typical dollar-like formations and the popular cross 3 fire last year. Of course, not as deadly as this year, but I have had some success running the one with the double blitzes here, running the DB Fire 2. DB Fire 2 is of course not like in the past, but it's still pretty effective in doing a couple of setups with that, and also mix up some coverages where putting the DBs in man coverage on people. So really like this can't go wrong with the Patriots. It's been good for years because of its versatility, and it's good in Madden 19 as well. My second favorite playbook is the Detroit Lions, which is very similar to the Patriots playbook, which should not be a shock because Matt Patricia was the former defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick in New England, and he's the head coach of the Lions now. So he brought his playbook in his same style with Belichick, a variation of a 4-3 and 3-4, has the 4-3 under. Very similar to the Patriots playbook, which I like. It has that versatility. It has the 3-3-5 odd, 2-4-5 double A gap, and also the big nickel. But the big difference is it has a normal dime normal there. The dime blitz 2 is a good one. Mixing that up with the DB blitz, you can use the cornerback there as well as the Mike dime blitz and come off the edge and still use the middle linebacker to cover the field. As well as the double sky, mix that in there is nice. It's a couple of three double blitz is nice. Dime normal, don't see a lot of people run that, but it is a good mix-up formation there, and has the dollar formation. Does not have the versatility of the New England playbook, but it has, when you're swapping out linemen, the same 1-3-6 and all that. But it's basically dollar. I mean, the same thing, the same plays in it that are popular. The cover 3 sky press is a good one. Cover 4 drop, I like this year. You have to watch out for the safeties this year. The cover 4 it can get pretty wonky. I've seen some plays where streaks just get wide open against the cover 4, so you got to kind of watch. I'll do more breakdowns on the different zones and the new zones they have in the game. Cover 3 lock is a good one. I like to mix that one along with the cover 3 cloud show 2, which is one of my favorites from the past. So very similar to the Patriots playbook, but with just a few slight differences. Up next, we have the multiple playbook, one of the specialized non-team specific playbooks, and it has a multiple of formations in it, just like the name. Starting off with a 4-3 normal, which is pretty much a basic 4-3 normal. Has a lot of the good plays. I do like this outside linebacker fireman, brings a lot of good pressure this year in the game. Also, going to the 4-3 under which is a typical formation, but I love the cover 3 cloud show 2, which has been one of my favorite coverages in the game for years. I've used that a lot successfully. Also, but the one of the things that stand out so much in this one is actually the 4-3 odd formation. It has interesting plays in it, like the cover 4 drop. In 4-3 formations, you typically don't see a drop formation like that, but it has, if you notice, it has that extra rusher almost as like a linebacker position. So it's like a linebacker slash rusher. So somebody like Jadeveon Clowney, which is great, so he can rush the passer, but also he has the speed to drop in coverage. He's great in a 4-3 odd tight set. When you got guys like this, Whitney Merciless, who can actually cover and rush the passer pretty well, it's really good set because you can mix in the 4-3 drop, but it also has the pinch zone 4, so you can bring some pressure and have some coverage with that, and also mix that in with a lot of the different cover formations. I love hearing that CB dog zone is a nice one. It's just a lot of, I just love the mix of coverages and heat out of that 4-3 odd there, and also has the 3-4 odd and solid with the typical 3-4 formations plays in it. The pinch dog to press is still a good one. It's still good plays well against the run. Also, I use it to stop the pass. If you want to send a little more heat, you can send that extra middle linebacker for some instant pressure on that one. 3-4 solid, pretty much just a basic 3-4 solid. Nothing really stands out for this one in the formation. That clamp double go is a nice one if you want to playmaker a few of the guys here and there into the flat, stuff like that, to really confuse your opponent. Got the DT dropping out, and it has the 5-2 formation in, which you don't see in too many playbooks. The 5-2 formation, I really like to mix in that pinch, which brings immediate heat. Also mix that in with the fire zone 2, so the same way I would blitz the middle linebacker the same way, and so make it look like it's almost the same thing as the pinch, but then the flats are covered, your opponent throws to the flat, boom, you got a pick 6 back to the house. So I like mixing those two formations in when I run the 5-2. Everything else is pretty much standard. The nickel normal 3-3-5 wide, it's pretty decent. It's just like typical years. I've used that with the Mike Blitz 0 and kind of fake blitz to the middle linebacker and drop back and cover guys. Not a huge 3-3-5 wide fan, but just a typical nickel normal. Nothing different, nothing really special here in the nickel normal, but it's really a good in the over G, big nickel over G, like a lot of playbooks have, and a typical dime and dollar as well. So the big ones in the multiple formations, really the 5-2 and that 4-3 odd, which really gives a different look to opponents. And we've got the Jaguars Playbook, which pretty much they were the hands down best defensive team in the league last year, and they've got the best 4-3 playbook in Madden this year. Starting off with the 4-3 normal, I like that Aggie Cloud Star. You can bring some pressure, slide your line over to that side, bring some pressure, but also maintains good coverage. That Free Fire 3, I've used a bit and got some pressure with that. Even times where I've blitzed the end and used the middle linebacker instead of running it as is. That's another good one. They have pretty much all the 4-3 formations, the 4-3 under, the 4-3 normal, the 4-3 over. That fire zone 2 is nice, as well as the 4-3 over plus, which you don't see in all the playbooks, which is a little bit different variation. What kind of slides that linebacker over, you send him off the edge there, like on that Mike Sam 2 blitz there, and the Mike Blitz 3, which is another good one. And also has the big thing with this, it has the 4-6 formation in it, and was pretty popular last year with the speed package. You can package in, which puts DBs on the field, giving you more speed. The cover 3 out of 4-6 normal speed package is still effective. It's still good, especially if you put the cloud flats out there. The cover 2 invert, for me, is not as good as last year. I've been running it, and it just seems like the yellows just don't cover as well. They get so deep that you really just get exposed underneath. So I got to put more time kind of tweaking that to get it working right, but it really is not as good as it has been in the past. The cover 3 match is a good one to mix in as well, and you know, man coverage is improved. this year. So I've definitely been running more cover one whole out of it, and either putting the middle linebacker in a flat or a purple and grabbing the safety, or putting the safety in the purple, just kind of mixing it up, doing different things with that. Putting the safety in a depending on my corners, I trust my corners, putting the safety in the yellow zone and grabbing the middle linebacker and covering things, just mixing up that and mixing more man coverages in all my calls. So nickel normal, same way, double A gap, big fan of. I've used it, it's pretty much in a lot of the formations, a lot of the playbooks. So that nickel dog 2, I run this a lot, as well as the mid blitz. Mid blitz is probably my most run blitz this year. I mean, it just brings instant pressure, especially if you have good corners like the Jags. You can just press up, and that mid blitz is just coming. It's a really good one. You can mix that up with the cover 3 cloud shell 2, and mix those 3 formations in together, as well as the cover 2. And this year you don't have to put the middle linebacker in the deep blue. He goes back in the middle read by himself and covers those deep routes, unless you got a mismatch or a super fast receiver that can beat him down the seam. But typically you have a good decent middle linebacker and a regular speed receiver, as long as it's not too crazy of a mismatch, the middle linebacker gets deep pretty well and covers that receiver. And a big nickel G, like I said, is in a ton of playbooks added. Pretty much, I would say almost all the playbooks have a big nickel over G in them, because a lot of teams in the NFL run that. And the dime has a dime formation. It's just basic dime, just like the other ones, as well as the dollar, pretty much the standard dollar plays that you've seen in the other playbooks. And on to my favorite playbook of the bunch, the one I will use all year long, the Ravens playbook. I love the Ravens playbook. It has so many good formations in it. It's a 3-4 playbook, but you'll see what I mean. It pretty much has you covered in every facet of the game. Starting with the 3-4 odd, which is a typical 3-4 odd, nothing super special out of that. I run the pinch Mike 0 sometimes, the pinch dog 3, as well, like I said, the pinch dog 2 press. It's just like last year. It's a pretty effective defense. Has the 3-4 predator. I don't use that a ton, but I do like the cover 3 cloud shell 2, similar to the 4-3-1 that I like to run. But also the 3-4 over ed. I don't even know what the ED stands for, edge or ed, ED, special ed, but it's great. I love it because it's basically like a 4-3 formation, but it's 3-4. It just moves one of your guys, your rush guys, it slides them over into the line. I mean, it's almost like having a 4-3 formation into a 3-4 playbook. I love this. I mean, it has a lot of the same stuff that I run in the 4-3 playbook, but it's a 3-4 playbook. So I kind of like that versatility. Like I said previously in the video, I love having that in there. It has the even as well. And it also has the 4-4 formation. Don't find that a ton in the game. I really like it for stopping the run, running the cover 3 match, cover 2 invert, and the cover 3 and the cover 1 as well. Like the 4-4, really good at stopping the run. I don't think it's as dominant at stopping the run last year, but I mean the run is so much harder to run in Madden this year. I find that you don't really have to gear up like last year to stop the run in Madden 19. And also has the nickel and the 2-4-5 double A gap, but it has the 3-3-5, which is so clutch here. I run so much stuff in here from the cover 2 man. I love that cover 3 sky drop. You just user the guy in the middle there that's in the spy, and so much is covered up with that, and mix that up with the cover 4 drop. It's just in the cover 3 clouds, another one, and as well as the 3 double buzz. Instead of blitzing that one guy, you user him. It's just so, the coverage is so good. And also the Tampa 2, grab that DB. You don't have to blitz him, or if you do blitz, you want to bring a little more heat. Blitz the DB and grab one of the linebackers there. Not the middle linebacker, grab one of the other linebackers, and you've got some good coverage. It's just such 3-5 is so good as far as coverage. It has has all the great plays. Another big G, big nickel over G, and it has the big dime, the 2-3-6, which is just like a nickel, but has extra DB in there. It has the 2-3-6 will, which is just like a dollar formation. Like I said, like that cover 3 lock formation, as well as the cover 3 cloud in there. Some really good coverages in there as well, and it's the normal quarter, nickel, and goal line like everything else. So definitely one of my favorite playbooks in Madden 19, and probably the one that I'll be using throughout the year. The Bengals defensive playbook has been great for a number of years, and it has a lot of the same, basically the same stuff as before. The big one that stands out is the Y9 formation. You know, if you want to keep contained on those scrambling quarterbacks, love the cover 2 invert in there. It can run it as is, and mix that up with the outside safety blitz. It sounds crazy, but you really, the man coverage being improved, you really can leave your corners out on the island more than past years. Man coverage is better this year. It's not perfect, not amazing, but definitely better. Also, the Sam Blitz 3 is a good one out of that. And like I said, I love that cover 3 cloud show too as a coverage. And the 4-6, and you can do the 4-6 speed package, and it covers just as well. But the big thing about this playbook that really stands out, it's a 4-3 playbook that has 3-3-5 in it. Like I said in last playbook, I professed my love for the 3-3-5 and the amount of coverage that it brings. It's really great. So really like this playbook. It has a ton of stuff in it. It does not have like a dollar type set in it, but I think it pretty much has you covered with the 3-3-5, the 4-6, as well as the Y9. So the Bengals is a really good playbook. And last but not least, one of my favorite playbooks in Madden 19 is the Giants playbook. It is a 3-4 playbook, but it has a really good mix of formations in it, with the 3-4 odd, the 3-4 under, 3-4 over, 3-4 even, and the 3-4 bear. I love that 3-4 bear. I like running the pinch 0, the pinch dog 3, mix that up as well, and the cover 2 invert, as well as the cover 3, which covers a ton. Doesn't bring a lot of pressure, but it's good to mix in when your opponent think you're bringing pressure, dropping that cover 3, and a ton of stuff is covered there. It's a lot of coverage on the field there, and that cover 3 out of the 3-4 bear. And it also has the 4-4 in there to really gang up on the run. It has the nickel normal, 2-4-5 double A gap, and the 3-3-5 as well. Another great playbook that has you covered pretty much all the best formations in the game, the big dime, and it has dollar as well with all the a lot of the great dollar blitzes and coverages in there. So it's a really well balanced playbook, kind of maybe a sleeper book. A lot of people don't know about. The New York Giants playbook is one of the best in the game. So hopefully you guys liked that video. Hopefully it was helpful, me going through and breaking down the playbooks. And you know, I try to do my best to bring you guys tips that can be helpful. So if you did like the video, make sure you drop a like. And if you love our content here, subscribe and support us on Patreon. This is the Natural SportsGamersOnline.com. I'm out.
I got a plug calling. I get 100 calling. You snitching and telling them niggas you got $400 on your head. They run up on them. They run up on them. I get 10 brother with Dugas and Toolers. I put a dozen on them on your head. They pull up with letters. They pull up with bread. Go suicide and then joking like boom.